And when someone makes a space for you and you get hold of just a bit of twisty road like what's coming up front, you can do something like this and you can have an absolute blast. Today we've got this absolutely stunning beast in front of us, due for a first ride. Thank you very much to the guys and girls at Raceworks KTM for lending us their parking lot to do the shoot. This bike does not come from them. So as you guys know, we've done the 890, we've done the first gen 1290, and now it's the turn for the second gen 1290. So same LC8 motor, absolutely stunning performance. This one does make a little bit less power and she is a little bit heavier, and that's thanks to Euro 4. But with this Aprokovic exhaust that she's got, she still sounds absolutely gorgeous. I'll give you guys a listen quickly. Also new to the Gen 2s is the TFT display, which is absolutely beautiful, crisp, clear, super easy to read. Oh, we need to get to neutral. This one's a lot easier to find neutral in than what the previous one was, that Gen 1 that I rode. So obviously not quite as loud as that naughty little Gen 1 that we rode, because this does still have the cat and everything in. But this bike is absolutely fully kitted out with the tech pack. That sounds gorgeous. But I think let's stop wobbling around in the parking lot, let's get on and let's go for a ride. Seating position, this feels a little bit lower than what the Gen 1 was. Super comfortable, super light on the reverse. Go up, make sure we don't do a noob thing here in the parking lot. Off we go. Oh wait, shit, we're in sports mode. Let's just dial that back a smidge. Oh wow, this is so much easier than what the Gen 1 was. I suppose let's start in rain. Close throttle, yeah, it's closed. There we go, we're starting rain. This is much easier to understand than what the Gen 1 was. What other fancy goodies do we have here? Oil temp, that's really nice. Fuel range 50 k's. Okay, we might have to put in fuel. Front wheel, rear wheel, I assume that's tire pressure monitors. There we get our ride modes again. ABS, MSR, ABS mode. You can put that into Pro, which lets you do all sorts of naughty things with the rear wheel. Let's have a trundle down the hill. Same hydraulic clutches on the previous model, super light, super easy to use, super handy. I must say, ergonomic wise, just sitting on the bike here for a second, the controls are in much more intuitive places, especially for the foot brake, for the rear brake. I found that on the Gen 1 I really struggled to get into the foot brake on that, but it could be that that was just a power parts accessory. I am also a little bit more lean forward than on the Gen 1, but that had a Pro taper on again, so this is not really sounding very good. I'm like, difference, but here's what it is, guys. Like, I would have loved to obviously have tried a stock Gen 1 so that we could get a little bit of a better comparison. Cheese and rice, this intersection takes forever to change. But I mean, yeah, this display is absolutely gorgeous. You have no trouble reading it. If I'm not mistaken, that's the day-night sensor. There we go. Woo! Oh wow, and look at that, you can move it around. Now I've moved it in such a fashion that I'm not sure I can move it back without breaking it. Ah! And it is shouting at us that we need to put fuel in, so we're going to have to put fuel in the same place as we did last time. It's a bit frustrating. Oh, this is so smooth. This is like crazy smooth. Wow. Yeah, back to riding position. I'm so roomy, I am so comfortable. I'm a little bit more crouched forward on this one, but I mean leg space. I've got leg space for absolute days. I mean, like, my legs are tilted back fairly, you know, but it's not uncomfortable at all. Like, I am super comfortable on this motorcycle. Super comfortable. A little bit of beans to get past here. Oh, definitely hasn't lost any of the punch from the first gen. It doesn't feel that way. I mean, this is just in rain mode, and this bike is absolute monster. I love this. I absolutely adore this. Flicky, 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 flicky. I think we'll get gas on the left hand side here this time instead of on the right there like last time. Absolute mission to get into that. Well, I mean, yes, it was a mission because I had to do a U-turn. That was frustrating. Quick shifter working nicely. Cold, it's fucking busy. Goodness. Oh, super the cool thing that I've got to show you guys is, so this has got a magnetic lock on the fuel cap. No key for the fuel cap. Well, and another thing you've got to be careful of, that the rep told me, is that when you're filling these things, is that because the fuel tank is so oddly shaped, right? You think I'm talking to you, but I'm talking to YouTube. Is that when you get just to the top, you need to be really careful because it's super easy to overfill them. And then you have gas going everywhere. Okay, now that you guys are back with me, I think we're going to be a little bit cheeky and go over to treat mode so we can get the full tap. We don't have too much time to ride here, so we've got to take advantage of what we've got, and we'll filter into the lane quickly. This is definitely much smoother than what the Gen 1 was. Thank you, kind sir. Let's see if we can get up in front of all of these folk and lean her over just a smidge going up the hill. Oh, this brings back Gen 1 memories all the way, except with some trick pieces like this super smooth quick shifter. And even nicer, it'll flip it for you too. Go down to third, bring her in. Woo! A little bit of rear wheel slip there. I'd love to see and go back if the traction control kicked in there, because this bike has also got a substantially upgraded electronics suite. So you've got, like with the Gen 1, you've got two modes for your ABS. You've got your normal full ABS, but you also have Supermoto mode, which will let you lock up the rear wheel and do all sorts of fancy things with it, keeping just your ABS on the front. And then if you go and the bike's got a 6-axis IMU for the traction control. So it's really a massive step up from the traction control systems that was on the the Gen 1. So with the 6-axis IMU, you've got cornering ABS as well as a lean sensitive traction control. So the bike's computer is doing probably a bazillion calculations a second to help you keep the sticky side down and the fun side pointed at the sky. Ooh, the amount of torque this puts out is just phenomenal. So this particular bike has got the full tech pack and track pack, so it's got a bit of a party trick. Head on over to ride mode. You can change these on the fly, by the way, which is absolutely amazing. Go down to track, goes the gas. You're now in track mode. In track mode, you've got launch control and you can turn the anti-wheelie off while still keeping your traction control up. So I was playing around a little bit earlier today and I found that like with traction control on about a 3 or a 4 gives the best misperformance compromises, misbehavior compromises, and lets you do things that you normally shouldn't. You can also, whilst you're in track mode, you can set your throttle control, your sensitivity of the throttle, so you can change it between street mode, sport mode, and then track mode, which is obviously the most aggressive. But in track mode you do have full power available irrespective of the throttle response that you choose, which is really great when you're pointing certain things at the sky, because you can keep your throttle control really smooth but still have the full tap available. And I mean, in rain mode brings the bike down to 100 horsepower thereabout, but still gives you full torque. And then street mode is full torque with full power with a very relaxed throttle response. And then sport mode, a little bit more snappy throttle, and then obviously when you go over to track mode, in track throttle you've got the most nippy throttle response. But that being said, when I call it nippy, it's not nippy, it's just aggressive. Like, I have no problem riding the bike around with that in-town traffic. Like, it doesn't feel unnecessarily quick. There's a camera here. This bike does have a plate on, so we just need to be a little bit considerate, behave a little bit of behavior, little bit. But I mean, when you're just tootling around town like this bike is such a little pussycat. Like, it's so tame. It doesn't feel like it's going to bite your head off. It doesn't feel like it's going to ruin your day or anything like that. Then when someone makes a space for you and you get hold of just a bit of twisty road like what's coming up front, you can do something like this and you can have an absolute blast. Woo-hoo-hoo! Little bit of bump. Oh, suspension soak that up beautifully. Big hole in the road there. Getting on the brakes, you've got Brembos up front, so the braking department is absolutely no problem. And then once again, that quick shifter up and down just working like an absolute charm. It's not as smooth as the BMW one. It's a little bit more clunky, but I must say I do enjoy that feeling from the gearbox of just a little bit more mechanical feedback. The S1000 I found had a very gel-like feeling through the shifter. Shall we try launch control? Let's try launch control. Let's be cheeky and try launch control. So clutch in, launch control on, roll the throttle, wait for a robot to change. Is it going to change? No, that's just, oh, there we go, and go. Keep the throttle burn, keep the throttle burn. Oh, wheels burn, wheelie. Woo! Oh, I'm sorry guys, you're going to get one of these. If you have never ridden one of these things, you 100% need to get to your closest KTM dealer, second-hand dealer. I don't give who they are, like phone them up and ask them to ride a demo, or Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, it doesn't, like, this is just, this is just, it's absolutely amazing. Like, there, I don't know if you can compare anything to this. It's absolutely beastly 1.3 V twin. And I mean, like, in the bend, it just sits, it's stable. Absolute monster. But I keep finding myself like going back and calling this bike a monster, and all of the other reviews that I've watched of people calling it a monster, it's only a monstrosity when you want it to be. Like when you're just tootling around town, they're so pleasant to live with. You've got upright ergonomics, you've got massive amounts of torque, so if you find yourself in a bit of a smidge or something like that, you know, it's not a problem to deal with it. I must say, the TFT dash, the day-night sensor, is a little bit too sensitive for my liking. It switches between night and day a lot. Nighttime is still bright enough that you can see it in the day, but it's just like up and down, left and right, up and down, up and down. It's like, I would appreciate it a bit if it just chose a mode a little bit more consistently. God, this thing is getting hot. Yo. I don't remember the Gen 1 getting this hot, but then again, when we rode the Gen 1, it was in winter, so there is that factor. I mean, I don't know, we could probably fiddle around and get the air temperature as well, but it's probably going to tell me it's something like 28 degrees. All the intersections today taking so long to change. I've got 1.3 litres of monstrosity firing off between my legs. It's hot. Oh no, that. Load shedding! Load shedding! You know how it goes here in South Africa, load shedding, everything goes off and then it just becomes an absolute triangle place. If you want nice things for cheap, move to South Africa. If you want electricity, don't move to South Africa. Oh, he just picks up the wheel so easily. So easily. These bar end mirrors, whilst they look stylish, they look very much stylish, not very practical, I must admit. Like every time I accelerate hard, they move around. And then you like get to the next intersection or something, and then you need to stop. Come on, T, you was here before I. Thank you. And another cool thing that you get on the Gen 2s, which you didn't get on the Gen 1, and I'm assuming it has to do with the IMU. Let's just be careful here, be careful, let's move over. Hey, watch it. Here's that. We've got a second, we've got a third, and then from third you can do this magical thing. You press this button here, you press it on, you pull it back, and you set your cruise control. I mean, I don't advise doing this in town traffic like this, but you could sit here perfectly relaxed. The bike does the work for you of not breaking the law and just trundles along, and you can do this from third at any speed, sixth up until you get stratospheric speeds, you know what I mean. It's just such a pleasure. I mean, yes, there's always the concern about electronics breaking, electronics not working, but I mean, the world revolves around electronics these days. And if you want a newer motorcycle with fancy things, you're going to have to live with them, you know? It's just one of those risks that you're going to have to take. But this is just an absolute gem of a motorcycle. I think don't think you could get a better daily motorcycle than this. Like the S1000 felt really aggressive. I think the S1000 would make a better track bike, maybe a better Sunday bike. I don't even know about a Sunday bike, eh? But maybe a bit of a better track bike just because it's surgical. Whereas this is like you're going around as full with Molyneux and you're just bashing things with a giant hammer, and you're not giving a continental about, you know, who's in the way, what's in the way, or why. Like, it's just so easy. Like, look at this, guys. Is he going to give it full beans? Is he going to give it some beans? Let's show him beans. Comes in. Oh, he's giving it beans. Very legal. I must say, the X-Car does get going, eh? It does get going. I hope we're still recording. The battery was a little bit low. Let's see if we can use this arbitrary mirror to find out if we're still recording. Yes, we are. We're still recording. It's a win. Filter through the traffic. I mean, this is first gear, filtering through the traffic. I'm not stressing too much about the clutch indicator. Indicators in a good position. The switch gear feels really good quality, like left, right, up, down, front to back. The headlights on this thing, like, switch on the day switch. Bright as a bloody sun at night. Like I almost feel bad for people driving around in front of me when I'm riding around on this. I don't know, this just goes into a shopping centre. Oopsie doodle doodle. No speed handling. It's fine. It's fine. It's perfect. It has no stress. Doesn't have to think twice about things. Like, everything on this motorcycle just feels super natural. Maybe this bike just fits me and my riding style really well. I don't know. But I mean, here I'll show you the just tootle around town part. We're doing 50 something probably. We'll have someone cut us off. We're in 4th gear. And we're just la-di-daing about. Quick shifter, lower RPM, works great. Or going down. Sometimes going up, it can be a little bit full of shit, and it will find you false neutrals, which that's very annoying when it does that. But I don't have any of that problem when I'm using the clutch at slow speed. So probably at slow speed, going up the gears, if you're just trundling around town, maybe use the clutch instead of using the quick shifter. You can go down again, no problem, and then just get on the gas a little bit, and then it goes up again. This bike is just an absolute dream to ride. I wonder if that is the same police as what we saw just now. The JM behind us, some mirrors of trash, and through we go. Guys, I think we've summed up this bike really well. I think you guys can see this is an absolute quality machine. Obviously the name of the game here is torque, but you are still churning out a mind-boggling 177 horsepower, something crazy like that. And it definitely doesn't die off higher in the RPM range. It just goes from this absolute wanting to wrench your arms off kind of torque to screaming top end, where that V-twin really swings and sounds absolutely gorgeous. You can use this as a hoon bike, you can use this as a track bike, you can use this as a Sunday bike, you can use it as a daily bike. I mean, if I had to be really cheeky, even if you were a bigger fella and you had a bit of money to spend, because this bike's quite expensive, and you were responsible, you knew how to manage that thing, you left all the electronics on, you left it in rain mode. Shit, dare I say this could be a first bike? could it be a first bike? I don't know. Hit me up in the comments, guys. What do you think? If you were A, responsible, B, kept yourself within your limits, C, had the money, and D, the strength to manage it around, do you think this could be, well, giant holes? A first bike for someone, you know, not a youngster, not you of 16 and 17. No, you've got too much hormones playing around in your brain, wanting to make you do dumb things. No, this is not the motorcycle for you. But someone that's been around the block already, maybe driven some performance cars, someone that understands with great power comes great responsibility. Do you think it could be a first bike for them? Hit me up down in the comments. Let's have the debate. Let's have a chat about it. Guys, thank you very much for pulling in. If you have any questions about this absolutely gorgeous bike, leave it down in the comments. I'll definitely get back to you. I really appreciate you guys pulling through. Thank you, lady. As always, please remember to like and to subscribe. It really does us a massive favor when you guys hit the like button and you subscribe. We really do appreciate when you do that. Thanks for pulling in again. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good one.